Hello everybody, my name is Young Falcon and I'm proud to present my full review on Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. Thank you guys so much for the views over the last couple of videos. It really means a lot. And if you guys want to see more of this kind of content, please just leave a like and comment and subscribe down below. It really goes a long way in helping out this channel and keeping me in the algorithm so you guys can keep getting this awesome content. Alright, with that out of the way, let's kick it off with the quick plot synopsis of our game. We play as Jack Garland, a man who wakes up with a crystal in his hand, hatred in his heart, and one mission on his mind, and that's to kill Chaos. That's it, I'm dead serious. The plot is literally just to murk this fella named Chaos. I mean, obviously there's twists and turns throughout and revelations getting revealed, but sadly due to current Square Enix restrictions, we will not have a spoiler section for this video because I don't want to show off anything or talk about anything that could get my channel copyrighted, so hopefully you guys can understand. The characters and writing are surprisingly good. It starts off a little bit on the corny side with all the classic memeable lines you've seen in the trailers and whatnot, and over the course of the game, I was finding myself to be more and more shocked with how much the plot uncovered and dug deep into the world building and fleshing out these characters. And I really like how it handled its ties to the OG NES game as well. Like, it's honestly pretty well handled. The game's plot definitely gives me strong PS2 JRPG energy, you know, games like Shadow Hearts or Star Ocean where you go in expecting something at the very least subpar but walk out with a memorable experience that kind of reshapes how you're going to approach games in the future. Without saying too much, I think people will be pleasantly surprised by the story of Stranger of Paradise, and I was definitely taken for a ride. I also went on the record, Stranger of Paradise looks really darn good to me, man. Like, it's got some low resolution moments for sure on PS5, but I don't know, the environments and the design for them are just so pretty. Enemy designs are that perfect blend of this like surreal and grotesque look, and I also like how they kind of mix in just standard goofy looking FF enemies too. Like, that's really cool. It's like they're superimposed in a grounded title, and I just find that hilarious when games do that. It also helps that the game usually runs at a rock solid 60 FPS over on the PS5 for me personally, with dips only happening when there's a bunch of explosion and particles and whatnot on screen. And for the last gen homies, rejoice. For once, the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X versions still somehow run at around 60 FPS, which is, in my opinion, really dope. Now, of course, a special nod goes to that animation work, right? That's the true glue that holds together everything in this game. Every swing of the sword, casting of spells, and those dummy brutal takedowns, they go a long way making every hit I land an absolutely satisfying one. Like, bro, who decided to do these WWE looking, Doom Eternal looking takedowns in my Final Fantasy? Whoever's idea that was, make sure you give that homie a raise. As for the armor and equipment you equip, that's always like a kind of pet peeve of mine in certain JRPGs, because if it's not cool and I can't like change the outfit like say Xenoblade to look how I want to look but keep the stats, it always kind of rubs me the wrong way. But thankfully in Stranger of Paradise, for the most part, every armor piece is absolutely fire, except for a select few where I can't like put on a headgear. It kind of like takes away your headgear and makes you only wear the chest piece or only wear a certain piece. Sometimes it gets a little annoying. I just want to make my character look either ridiculous as possible or really drippy. You know, my boy Jack, he's got to be dripped out of his mind if he's gonna go kill Chaos. You know what I'm saying? I can't have this fella looking lame. I definitely gave up stats sometimes just to wear the fedora. I'm gonna keep it 100% with you. And lastly, for presentation, we have the OST, and once again in classic Final Fantasy fashion, it's beyond broken tier. Every theme, boss theme, dramatic piece, the whole 9 yards, even the licensed music, they all slap. The songs go in. Then after we're done eating up these appetizers, we get to the main dish of the game, which is the gameplay. And oh boy, is there a lot to dig into with Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. For starters, the game offers 8 weapon types: spears, axes, katanas, to name a few. Each weapon type kind of corresponds with a job, and there's over 27 jobs to choose from. So the more you train with the weapon, the more job points you gain. That goes into unlocking new skills for these weapons, increasing your job affinity, which helps unlock damage buffs and special perks on your equipment. And of course, you can unlock command abilities, which increases the replay value tenfold. Now here's the big ingenious catch. To kind of prevent the player from railroading and sticking with one job, the game nudges you constantly out of your comfort zone by making it so when you go to unlock advanced jobs, you have to put stats in other jobs as well. This is really dope. For example, having to combine your greatsword skills you just learned with the Marauder class, which is the Axe class, to later go down the tree and unlock Berserker, is the type of stuff I'm talking about, where it keeps rewarding the player for experimenting and stepping out of your comfort zone and actually giving yourself an incentive to go out of your way, do a couple side quests, and just replay the missions. And since missions length are relatively short, usually clocking in around the 10 to 15 minute side depending on how skilled you are at the game, especially when you go through side missions, which can take anywhere from 4 to 5 if you're really nice, you won't find it too troublesome to switch between these classes and build that job tree up. Not to mention, it's just nice that the game gives you so many tools in your arsenal to become as overpowered as you want to be. And being able to switch between stuff on the fly with triangle, I'm telling you, man, it is insane how much you can get away with when you go and mix and match these job trees, and sets up for some of the most OD fun moments I've had in gaming. Like some of the broken late game stuff I was doing, I felt like an utter beast just running through the opposition. It was insane. Another bonus for me was the hyper focus on the game's aggression in its gameplay, right? The game always has you wanting to move, parry attacks, break enemies' defenses to get those cool kill takedowns. Couple that with every time you parry, you gain MP, so you can utilize that on more skills. So parrying bosses and grunts and etc. is pretty much a must to continue getting further and further in progression. And man, oh man, those bosses, bro, they are so much fun to take on. I loved fighting the opposition in this game, especially when we got to the bigger fights. And I mean, just look at some of this stuff. It was so darn cool. Yeah, gameplay wise for me personally, Stranger of Paradise FFO is a hood classic. I really enjoyed the fact that the game offers so much replayability, so many different things to choose between the job trees, and most importantly out of it all, a full co-op experience. So when you want to grind and play with your friends and your homies, it's a relatively easy experience to hop in and hop out of. And on top of that, your story progress in co-op will transfer over to your main game, so you never feel like you're taking time away from progressing the campaign, which in my opinion should be standard in these kinds of games. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I really enjoyed Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. There's something about the game that isn't really revolutionary or groundbreaking, but it's a welcome surprise in the current landscape of gaming right now, and it just ticked off a lot of these strangely nostalgic options that really clicked with me. So it's an easy sell for me personally, and if there's anything in the gameplay looks remotely interesting, or you're just looking for a non-live service co-op game to run through with the boys, this one is definitely something you should pick up and check out. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of the video. It really means a lot. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves. It's still crazy out there, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Be safe. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.